Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Bhakti Shastri open course or open classes. And we are on Shri Upadeśāmṛtam. We will start first with Mangalacharan prayers. I will share my screen. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutah Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitanscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so we will also recite the first 3 verses of Upadeśāmṛtam, and we will do this as lead and follow. So you can, some of you can unmute if possible and follow along. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam
Vacho vegam
manasah
vegam
jibha vegam udaropastha vegam
jiva vegam udarapastha vegam
etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha
etan vegan yo visaheta dhiraha
sarvamapi mam prithivim sashishyat
sarvamapimam prithivim sasishyat
atyahara prayashascha
atyahara prayascha
prajalpo niyamagrahah
prajalpo niyamagrahah
janasanghascha laulyam cha
janasanghascha laulyam cha
tadbhir bhakti vinashyati
tadbhir bhakti vinashyati
utsahan nishchayat dhairyat
utsahan nishchayat
tattat karma pravartanat
tattat karma pravartanat
sangatyagat sato vritteh
sangatyagat sato vritteh
tadbhir bhakti prasidhyati.
tadbhir bhakti prasidhyati.
Shall we keep going on?
Yep.
Dadati pratigrahanati
Dadati pratigrahanati
guhyam akhyati pritchati
guhyam pritchati
bhunte bhojayate chaiva
bhunte bhojayate chaiva
tadvidham priti lakshanam
tadvidham priti lakshanam
krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta
Krishneti yasya giritam manasādriyeta
Dikshasti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham
Dikshasti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham
Shrushaya bhajan vigyamananyamanya
Shushraya bhajana vikramananya
Nindadi shunya hridamipsita sangalabdhya
Nindadi sunya hridamishita sangalabhya
Drishtaih swabhava janitair vapushascha doshair
Drishtaya svabhava janite vapushasasdoshair
na prakritattvamiha bhakta janasya pashyet
Prakritattvamiha bhaktajanasya pashyet
Gangam bhasam na khalu budbudhapena pankair
Gangavasana buddhapena pankaj
Brahmadravattvamapagacchati niradharmaih.
Brahmadravatmapagacchati niradharmai.
Okay, this is today's verse. Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya
Krishna Nama Charitata
Ittopatapta Rasanasya Narochikanu
Rasanasya Narochikanu
Intvadaradhanudinam Khalu Saiva Jushta
Kintvadaradhanudinam kalu chaiva jasta
Tvadvikramad Bhavati Tadgadamulahantri.
Tvadvikramat bhavati tadgadamulahanti.
All right, thank you. So we are on verse number 7. So maybe every time we will just recite, plus one verse. So I will stop sharing this and I will share my PowerPoint slides. Okay. Can you see the PowerPoint being shared?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great. So we are in the study of Sri Upadeśāmṛtam by Srila Rupa Gosvami, English translations and purports by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charnarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Also based on in-depth classes by Shriman Hari Parshad Prabhuji. All his classes are at this link. Feel free to please take advantage of this wonderful resource. Okay, so probably didn't change this link for a while, so we need to go like this. Verse number 7. Oh, 7. Okay. Okay, verse number 7. So now we are getting very, very deep into Krishna Bhakti. So verse number 5 was also about dealing with various devotees, with various levels of devotees. Okay, Krishneti yasya giritam, on whose mouth there is Krishna, then dikshasti chet, and bhajantamisham, that is second level. Third level is bhajana vidyam and nindadi shunyam hridam. In their heart there is no ninda, etc. for anybody else. So that was verse number 5, various levels, how we interact with devotees. So there is still devotees, there is bhakti there. Verse number 6 was to not see faults in any devotee, any kinds of faults in any devotee. So this was all about our interaction with other devotees. And it started all the way back in verse number 4, which was what? Dadati pratigrahanati guhyam akhyati prichhati bhunkte bhojayate chaiva. So it started from there, then verse number 5, then verse number 6. Verse number 7 is all about personal bhakti. No interaction with anyone else, any other devotee, any other person. It's all about our interaction or our relationship with Krishna and Krishna naam. So very, very, very personal bhakti, personal sadhana. So awakening the taste for bhajan of Shri Krishna's names and pastimes. So very, very deep we are into Krishna Bhakti. And let us try to analyze this verse fully. Do a full analysis, or what we say, Anvaya of this verse. So, anybody has memorized this verse? Anybody knows this verse by heart? Okay, so try to Anvaya, always Anvaya, or this kind of word by word breaking up helps in remembering the verse. So I have done this Anvaya, and I have tried to keep one line of each verse together, like each quartlet, each quarter. So it starts with Syat Krishna Nama Caritadi Sitapya Vidya. So I have rearranged some terms here, but all the terms are there. If you see here Syat, I hope you can see my mouse. Syat.
Prabhuji, we don't see your screen.
Oh, you're not seeing my sharing. Why? Sorry.
We see you, but not the screen.
Oh, sorry. Now you can see?
Yes, Prabhuji. Now
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, glad I asked. So this was verse number 7, title slide, awakening the taste for bhajan of Shri Krishna's names and pastimes. Sorry about that. And then verse number, or the first quarter, Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya. So you can see here I have broken it down and all the words are there. Syat Krishna Nama Charita Adi Sita Api Avidya. Everything is there, and if we take the translations, it forms a reasonable sentence in English. This process is known as Anvaya. So Krishna Nama, very straightforward. What is Krishna Nama? Holy name of Krishna. Charita. Charita means his pastimes, his activities, his character, you can say Charitra, but his pastimes. Adi. So this verse is not talking only about naam and charita. Oh, I don't have to talk about guna or rupa or leela or shiksha. All that is included in adi. So Krishna naam charita adi. So all what it means, adi means all kind of Krishna katha. Okay. And when it is said Krishna, it also does not mean only Krishna. It means any incarnation, any avatar of Lord Shri Krishna. So Ramayana is very much included in Krishna Nama Charitadi. Okay, for example, or pastimes of Lord Nrsimhadev, or any other incarnation of the Lord. So Krishna Nama Charita Adi. Syat Api are all those, Sitapya, and Syat means are, and then Sita Api are. Sita means Mishri. In Hindi we call Mishri. English we say sugar candy. It's like the crystallized sugar. It's the sweetest form of sugar. Sugar is usually coming from sugarcane juice, but then you keep refining it and it becomes sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, and the sweetest form is known as Mishri, or sweet sugar candy. And avidya is, you can say, ignorance or lack of knowledge is avidya or ignorance. So let us see. The holy name of Krishna and his pastimes, etc., are although sweet sugar candy. Okay, so the holy name of Krishna is very sweet. Not just the name, pastimes, the roop, guna, leela, shiksha, everything is very sweet. But due to this, I have added, but due to make a sentence, but due to the ignorance. Now let us go to the next line. Pittopatapta rasanasya narochikanu. So, pitta means jaundice, disease. Upatapta means being diseased or being affected by, being afflicted by jaundice. And this jaundice is mainly a disease of the liver. That is the root cause, or the main problem is in the liver, but its effect or the symptom is on the tongue. So we feel it on the tongue. So rasanasya of the tongue. So it is known as jaundice of the tongue. Na rochikanu, that sweet mishri does not appear to be sweet, even though it is so sweet. In reality, it is very sweet, but it appears to be bitter when one is afflicted by the disease. So once again, the sentence is, the holy name of Krishna and his pastimes, etc., are although sweet sugar candy, but due to the ignorance of being afflicted by the jaundice of the tongue, it does not appear palatable or sweet, even though it is so sweet. Are you following? So these are the first two lines. So what is the solution? So this is only telling, the first two lines are telling the problem statement in both ways, for the holy name, which is very sweet, as well as mishri or sugar candy, which is very sweet. But one who is diseased with avidya or jaundice cannot taste, cannot feel the sweetness, cannot perceive the sweetness. The solution is what? That comes in the next two lines. Kintva daradanudinam khalu saiva jushta. Kintu. So kintva, kintu eva. So you see kintu eva adarat anudinam khalu or saiva. So sa khalu aiva is eva jushta. So all the words are here. So kintu means but, eva only if, sa khalu, that naturally sweet name is indeed jushta, chanted or honored. Honored means when you take the name, you're honoring the name, you're chanting the name. Anudinam, every day. And adarat means with respect, with adar. We say adar samman. Adar samman means with lot of respect, faith, love, etc. So, but only if that naturally sweet name is indeed chanted or honored every day with respect, faith, or love, then what happens? Swadvi kramad bhavati tad gadamula hantri. So swadvi kramad. So swadvi means the taste, the swad, the sweet taste. Kramad, gradually. Bhavati, the holy name becomes. Tad gada, tad means that disease of jaundice. Mula means root. We say mula is root. And hantri means to hunt, to do hatya, which means it's destroyed or is killed. So the sentence becomes like this. But only if that naturally sweet name is indeed chanted every day with respect, gradually the holy name becomes sweet or relishable, and that disease of jaundice is destroyed at the root. At the root means then it does not come back. Are you following? So that is the sort of the Anvaya of this verse. So would somebody like to read the full Anvaya? Who can read nicely and loudly, properly?
I can try, Prabhu.
Yes, Kalpataru Mataji, please.
Do you mean the translation?
Yeah, like just go like this on the slide.
Okay.
Just the English. Keep going in sequence.
Sure, Prabhu. The holy name of Krishna and his pastimes, etc., are although sweet sugar candy or like sweet sugar candy, but due to the ignorance of being afflicted by the jaundice of the tongue, it does not appear palatable or sweet, even though it is so sweet. But only if that naturally sweet name is indeed chanted or honored every day with respect, faith, and love, then gradually the holy name becomes sweet, relishable, and that disease of jaundice is destroyed at the root.
Very nice. Thank you very much. So you can see how this verse can be. This is the plain vanilla translation, word by word, with some additions in the middle to make it a proper English sentence. Now, I will request you to read Srila Prabhupada's translation, and you will see there is absolutely no difference in Srila Prabhupada's translation. So, can you please read the translation by Srila Prabhupada?
Sure, Prabhu. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root.
Very nice. Thank you, Mother. So, would you agree that both the ways are identical? I mean, the wording may be different, but there is absolutely no difference in the meaning.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, very nice. But here it is, the way I did was I could do the Anvaya to show you exactly how it is broken down. Okay, so we will come back here. So this is a very, very important verse, and it is showing the importance of our daily Krishna naam caritadi japa, or immersing ourselves in Krishna naam caritadi. So immersing ourselves in Krishna katha. Okay, and in some sense, it is talking about kirtana, or taking the name of Krishna, because it is talking about the tongue. Even though the tongue is being referred to as for jaundice, as the disease of jaundice, when you cannot taste something, the tongue is used. But typically, jushta also there is a word which basically means chanted, or it is honored. That is another meaning. So in different translations, different commentaries, Srila Prabhupada has taken the meaning of chanting, but it could very well apply to hearing as well. So it is not just the naam jap, it is more than naam jap. It includes charita adi. So it includes doing, talking about the pastimes of the Lord, hearing about the pastimes of the Lord. All those are encompassed within this verse. So I have now want to show this sort of analogy. So it's a very, very wonderful analogy given by Srila Rupa Gosvami. And it's fairly straightforward, but I still wanted to lay it down in some steps. So we see 7 steps. So on the left-hand side, we'll go one by one, 1 through 7. And then on the right-hand side, we will see, I will make it black in the next click. And you will see the correlation of how the disease is perceived. We identify the disease, and then we cure the disease. So the tongue is diseased with jaundice. And because of this jaundice, it does not relish sugar candy, which tastes bitter to the person, to the diseased person. In reality, everybody else who is not diseased will agree that the sugar candy is very sweet. But to that person, it tastes completely bitter and he does not want to take it. But that bitter tasting sugar candy is the medicine for the disease. I looked it up actually online, and I saw that a lot of the medicines, the natural medication or cures for jaundice, are all kinds of sweet items. Sugarcane juice or this or that, they're all kind of called as the natural remedies for jaundice. You can look it up. On continuously taking this remedy of sugar candy with faith in the doctor, the disease is slowly cured. Once the disease is cured, the medicine begins to taste sweet. Once the disease is gone, then the real taste of the medicine, which is sugar or candy, begins to be enjoyed. And now step number 6 is very important. So 1 to 5 is straightforward. It was there in the verse also. 6th verse and the 6th step and 7th step I have taken from commentaries of acharyas. And this is something very, very enjoyable, relishable. That even after the disease is cured, the patient continues to take the medicine. Okay. Would you take a medicine after the disease is cured in a normal case?
Addicted to medicine.
Mm. So not like your oxycodone, then you become a drug addict, but this is different kind of medicine, which is sugar candy. So even after the disease is cured, the patient continues taking the medicine, though there is no need, typically, but not as medicine, but to relish or enjoy the sweet taste. Then one cannot give it up. So that is the beauty of, of the holy name. So let's go to the next click. So we are diseased with avidya. We will see what is avidya or ignorance. So we have no relishment for the sweet names of Krishna. Is that true? That is very true in my case. They sound boring, tasteless, mundane. Okay, we have to do it to pass Bhakti Shastri or whatever it is. Or, somebody has said, I have faith in the person, but it is just not tasteful at the moment. But that same Krishna Naam is the medicine for our disease for ignorance. So you can see one-to-one mapping to this whole jaundice situation. But on continuously taking the sweet names of Krishna with faith on previous acharyas, they have said, and our greatest acharya in our line, Srila Rupa Gosvami, is saying this, that we should take this medicine. The disease is cured. Once the disease is cured, one begins to get a taste in Krishna Naam. Then one continues to take Krishna Naam ever after, not as a medicine, because there is so much relishment in Krishna Naam. Okay. So that is the one-to-one mapping to this analogy. And Krishna Naam, like I said, not only refers to Naam, but Krishna Katha, name, character, form, pastimes, etc. So Naam, Charita, Rupa, Leela, Guna, qualities, Shiksha, instructions, prayers, all those things are included in Krishna Naam or Krishna Katha. Okay, are you all with me so far? Okay.
Yes, Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhu.
So now come some important points, some main points. So please, I have done some analysis on this verse from commentaries of previous acharyas. So the disease, the cure, and the result. You can see my mouse movement, I hope. So the disease has two things, root cause and symptoms, isn't it? Just like jaundice, in this case, the root cause we know is in the liver, but the symptom we see on the tongue. Okay. So in the real sense, the symptom, first we will see symptom, no taste in Krishna Katha or Krishna Naam. It's boring, it's burdensome, it's mechanical, it's something to be done, finished, and then move on with real things or with more interesting things. Na rochikanu. So I have given a Sanskrit, the words in the verse that map to this thought or this idea. So symptom is not having any taste. How many of you agree with this? I agree with this, that there is no taste. At least in the past, I could see in my own life, there was no taste in Krishna Katha. Would you, how many of you see or saw the symptoms previously in your life? Okay, what about the rest? Okay, I will take it as many of you agree. Na rochikanu. And the root cause is avidya. And avidya means ignorance of sambandha gyan. Okay, so that is the root cause. So that is the disease. It has a symptom, and we see the symptom in our life. We don't see taste in Krishna Katha, Krishna Naam, Krishna Jap, the chanting of the Mahamantra. We don't see that. And the root cause is avidya. We will go in deeper into it. The cure consists of 4 items, 3 main items, which are more obvious, and then a 4th item, which is obvious, but it is hard to accept. Okay, or it is something we are not comfortable with. So the first one is medicine, process, and attitude. These are the first three. Very important points. So this slide is about main points in this verse. So these are the main points. First of all, the medicine. We have to find the right medicine for the disease. And the medicine is Krishna Katha. That is the medicine. Srila Rupa Gosvami is saying this. I am just repeating what is being said. That is the straight and simple answer. The medicine is this. You don't argue with the doctor. If you have cancer, the doctor gives you chemotherapy. You don't argue with him. Instead of chemotherapy, can Tylenol be enough? Can Brufen be enough? It is not going to cure. Something else is not going to cure the disease that you have. You have to take the medicine that the doctor is prescribing. So Krishna Katha is the medicine. Krishna naam caritadi. Then process. Part of the process is anudinam. Very important word, anudinam. You have to do it daily, as much as possible, at least daily. Anudinam. There is no leeway for any misinterpretation. Any anudinam means once a week, once a month, only weekends. It does not mean that. Anudinam only means every day. And then the attitude cannot be mechanical. It has to be from the heart, with love. Adarat, adar, with lot of feeling, with lot of respect, with lot of faith one has to take. So all these have to be there. You cannot just take Krishna Naam once a month with mechanical. Then you are only doing number 1, not 2 and 3. Okay. You cannot take it some other name daily. You cannot say, Netflix, and say I'm doing it daily. You have to do Krishna Katha daily with love. One can do Netflix daily with love. That is very easy. But you have to do Krishna Katha. So all three have to be done. And according to me, the most important part is attitude. Adarad. That is the biggest eye-opener for many people. We all have been told so much. You must do Naam Jap or Hare Krishna Mahamantra Jap. You must do it every day, 4 rounds every day, 8 rounds, 16 rounds, whatever. But if it is not done with Adarad, that point is not stressed usually. The focus is more on just getting somebody to do it, which is a good first step. But without this third point, attitude, it will take a very, very, very long time for one to develop this adar. Simply by taking the name mechanically, it will have a very slow effect. Maybe 20 years later, you will come to the stage of adar, or maybe in next life. But if you start putting in your effort of your feeling of your adar from your side, the effect will be just exponential. It will be accelerated so much that you cannot imagine. So from most of the devotees' perspective, and all of you are devotees, none of you is brand new who is attending this class today first time. So for all of us, I feel this Adarad word is the biggest eye-opener. Krishna Naam, very clear. Take it daily, also many people are clear. And Adarad is the main thing that people may miss. And then the fourth one is Dhairya. Remember what is the third verse? Who remembers the third verse? Can somebody recite without looking? Anybody has memorized third verse without looking?
What is the beginning, Prabhu? Just if you can remember.
Utsaha.
Utsaha
Utsaha
nitya dharyat.
Go ahead. Kalptaru Mataji, you want to go ahead?
I'll try, Prabhu. Utsaha nishtaya dhirya tat karma pravartana sangatyaga chalolyam cha
No. Sangatyagat sato vritte.
sato vritte. I always mix that. satovritte shadbir bhakti prasiddhati.
Prasiddhyati. Very nice. Very nice. So what is the third word in this? In the first line, what is the third word?
Dharyat.
Dharya. So that part is very, very important. One has to have patience, because the effect will not be immediate, overnight. Oh, 1 week I did all three nicely. I did Krishna naam every day for last 1 week with lot of feeling. Nothing happened. I didn't develop taste. Next week I feel still it is burden. So one has to give time. Kramad. Kramad means gradual. It's a very gradual process. Okay. So please don't try to rush it. Like you say, you cannot ripen a mango in 2 days. You have to leave it on the tree for 1 month, 2 months, and then it will become ripe. The moment you get a green mango, you cannot rush it to become a ripe, nice, sweet mango. It will stay a green, raw, bitter mango. You can make achar out of it, but you cannot make mango shake out of it. Okay. So you have to decide whether you want achar or mango shake. So it takes time. The taste will come with time. So continuously you have to keep doing till the taste comes. And what is that final state? The final state is svad. Svadvi. Svadvi kramad bhavati tadgadamula hantri. That's the last line. So swad comes. Svadvi kramad. Gradually the swad comes. Swadvi kramad bhavati. Bhavati means it comes or it manifests. So that is the first effect, that the taste develops. And the second effect is tadgada mulahantri, that the disease, tadgad, that particular disease which was talked earlier, pitto patapta, the pitta, disease of jaundice, mulahantri, at the root level it is destroyed. Jad se ukhad ke fek diya, we say in Hindi, right? Jad se ukhad diya, which means that it is been eradicated from the roots. The root cause has been eliminated, or the root has been eliminated. Okay. So these are some of the main points that we will focus our remaining discussion on. So I claim, or for us, for those who are aspiring devotees, for those devotees who are trying to make progress in our Krishna Bhakti, I say that this entire verse is about swad. It's about taste in chanting or in Krishna Katha. Swad, or taste, or that sweetness, the taste of sweet candy, or lack thereof. So the taste or no taste. So which words in the verse are related to swad or no swad? There are so many. So let me display the verse again, and I would like devotees to participate and tell which words in this verse are related to swad or lack of swad. Okay, Shamlila Mataji. Anjana Mataji, did you have your hand raised for a question? I see it is raised from the time when we said who all.
It was Prabhuji for that one only. When you asked that question, I
Can
raised
I
that.
lower it?
Yeah, please.
Okay, Shamlila Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
So the words na rochika no,
Yes.
which says that we don't have taste yet.
Very nice. That is one of the words. Another one, Surya Prabhu.
Prabhuji, could you hear me?
Yes.
About small doubt about Nama Japa.
Okay, we'll cover questions for later. Just one sec. I don't want to lose the.
Okay.
Which
okay,
other
okay.
words in the verse are related to taste or lack of taste? There are so many.
Prabhuji, rasanasya.
Sita.
Okay, rasanasya, tongue. So yes, rasana means the pitto patapta, rasanasya means the disease of the tongue. So yes, it has something to do with taste. Very nice. Then Sita, very nice, sweet sugar candy. So it is also taste. What is the main thing about sugar? Huh? Is the main
The
thing about
sweet.
sugar that is it a crystal? It is a solid, not a gas. Those are not the defining characteristics of sugar. The defining characteristic of sugar is sweetness. That is the only context in which you would use the word sugar. Otherwise, you could use other words. So yes. Okay, what else? Sai?
Swadvi.
Huh?
Swadvi.
Swadvi, very nice. Swadvi, we develop taste. Yes, Sai Prabhu.
I had the same, Swadvi.
Swadvi, okay, yes. And other devotees I'm looking in the chat also had Rochikano, Rochika. Okay, I'm trying to see. So, Syat Krishna Naam Charitadi Sita Pi Avidya Pittopatapta Rasanasya Narochikano Kintva Darad Anudinam Khalu Saiva Jushta. So,
Khalu also.
Khalu is, yeah, Srila Prabhupada has said here Khalu as naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is more referring to that which has been, it is more a pointer than a word itself. Okay, Jushta.
Sorry, Prabhuji,
Swadvi.
could you please repeat the point about khalu? How would it be indicating taste?
Yeah, so Khalu means that, Khalu means indeed. That is the real meaning of Khalu. Indeed, or certainly, or it is more of an emphasis statement. And Khalu sa eva. So saiva means sa eva, and sa means that. So that which is, and the way I had, if you see, I will show you once I switch to the slides. That's how I have put it. Okay. Swadvi Kramad Bhavati Tadgada Mulantri. So yeah, we discovered 3 or 4 words about taste in this verse, or the lack of taste. Okay. Let me share the slides back. So if you see here, Sa Khalu, that which is indeed, that naturally sweet name, because that which is pointing to the naturally sweet name is indeed chanted every day with respect. All right.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. So these are the words that are talking about taste, and today's class and majority of the topic of today's discussion on verse 7, we will focus on taste, because that is the most important thing. That if you can develop taste, many of you, and as those of you who are enrolled in Bhakti Shastri, you must do chanting every day, 16 rounds. But the point is that we must do it with taste. So it is very good that all of you are doing that japa. Now do it with taste, and I am telling you, your life will not be the same. You will be like the healthiest person spiritually in the whole world. So, you know, the whole gateway, the window will open to your taste, your joy, your bliss will know no bounds. So that is the topic of the remaining part of the discussion, taste in Krishna Nama Charitadi. So what is the meaning of taste? Can somebody say? One or two only, no more. I don't want 10 people. Raise your hand, first 2-3 devotees. What do you mean taste in Krishna Katha? Taste का क्या मतलब है? Yes, Shamlila Mataji.
मतलब आपकी रुचि या interest?
Okay, something more, little bit more vivid description. Yes, that's I would say the dictionary meaning. Yes, Radhakanta Prabhu.
You want to do it again and again.
Very nice. Okay, Madhvi Manjari Mataji.
Prabhuji, it's like a rasa, having ras in that chanting of holy name.
Okay, very good. That's also a sort of a synonym. Okay, Kalptaru Mataji.
Prabhu, building the relationship with Krishna when you say.
Okay, building relationship, very good. Surya Prabhu and Makrant Prabhu, and then we'll move on.
Enjoying the Nama Japa.
Enjoying the Naam Jap, very good. Makrant Prabhu.
It's a relishment.
relishment. Okay. Also a synonym or a, So again, everything was that you said is correct. I wanted to kind of get a little bit more of a understanding, like, practically what it may mean rather than just another word for it. So I also put some points down, like Radhakant Prabhu said, that something that you want to do all the time. Okay, so think about what you have taste in. I usually take example of Netflix or whatever that you may want to do. I don't know what it may be. For some people, it may be Facebook. For some people, it may be, watching cricket or basketball. And for some people, it may be playing video games. For some people, it may be, doing office work. They, want to always do office work. And it could be many things. For someone, it may be, I don't know, going out and, going for a walk. So something that you want to do all the time, that is what you have taste in. And everything else seems like a distraction. Why I have to do this nonsense? Why can't I just do that all the time? You want to finish everything else quickly or postpone it or do whatever and get to your tasteful activity. Maximize the amount of time and your engagement. And I use another word, immersion. Immerse yourself in the tasteful activity. Another thing I could write is that when you are doing that activity, time passes very quickly. You lose track. 3 hours I have been doing this. I didn't even realize 3 hours are gone, isn't it? So that is taste. So do we have taste in Krishna Nama Caritadi? How many of you would say you have a lot of taste in Krishna Nama Caritadi? You can be honest. Nobody? Okay. How many of you have some taste, you feel?
I feel, Prabhuji, that, I have to push myself to listen to it. But once I start listening, then I enjoy that process.
Okay.
But I have to literally push myself that this is a better choice.
All right. Okay. So there may be some, if I use physics language, there is some static friction, but kinetic friction is less. Means once you start, then it becomes.
Yeah, then you relish.
Then you relish.
Real push is required.
Choosing between Facebook and Krishna Katha or Netflix and Krishna Katha, maybe.
Yeah.
It flips on the Netflix side more than not. Okay, got it. Now so 4, 5, keep your hands raised. Now I will ask another question. Okay. And I am hoping that more devotees will raise the hands. Okay. How many of you, so the last question to which we see 5, 6 hands right now is that you feel some taste. Now let me ask another question. Okay. How many of you have seen over time, some of you are, or many of you are doing japa, Krishna Nama japa, and out of that, maybe some part of it is being done with feeling, it's not mechanical, it's not like a burden. Some part of it, maybe out of 16 rounds, or if you're doing 4 rounds, maybe 2 rounds are sincere with good quality, 2 are like, quick and poor quality, let's say. So whatever is the good quality part, how many of you have seen that your taste has increased over time? Wherever it was, it has gone up over some period of time. How many of you would say that? You may still not call it anything very significant or reasonable, but you have seen some increase in taste. Very nice. So more devotees are raising their hands. Very good, very good. So that is the point. So you should make a note of this, that my taste has increased. Now the question is, are we satisfied with that rate of increase? Like in a bank, when you put the money, are you satisfied with the rate of return? If a different bank is giving you higher rate of return, you will move the money to a different bank, isn't it? Because you like a higher rate of return. So you may not feel satisfied with the rate of return or the rate of increase but you have seen some increase. Okay. So now the question is how to increase the rate of return or the rate of progress in our taste. So first point in that question is to realize that according to the verse, according to this verse, it is perfectly natural to not have such taste. We are born, at least in this life, we are born with a lack of taste. We are born with the disease. Unless one is a, from past life is a devotee, most people are born with the disease, isn't it? And that is being said directly by Srila Rupa Gosvami in the verse. So the main point is that it is totally to be expected. Do not feel bad about it. Don't beat yourself up. Acknowledging that the problem is a natural problem. It's not a problem. How should I say? Yes, it is your problem. I don't want to say that it's not your problem, but you should acknowledge that this is a very natural process. You can think that, hey, why don't I have 4 hands? And if I had 4 hands, I could do, double the amount of work that I can do with 2 hands, isn't it? Too bad you don't have 4 hands. You just have to do with 2 hands, period. Whatever you can do, you have to do with 2 hands. There's no point in lamenting that you do not have 4 hands. Or some people lament, why aren't there 48 hours in a day? Why only 24 hours? If there were 48 hours, then I could do so much more productivity. Too bad. That's the limitation. So similarly, one should understand that we are born with this problem. Yes, it is our past, conditioning, which is causing us to be having no taste. So it is in a sense our responsibility, but don't beat yourself up. That is the first point. The second thing to realize is that since how long we do not have this taste. So for most people, the answer is since forever, since time immemorial. We do not have this taste. Okay. So that is also something that we must realize. And it gives us a feeling that, yes, I can move on from here. I have not moved forward so far, but this is a perfect time to start making forward progress. Now the question becomes how to make progress. Okay, so for that, we should try to understand why we do not have taste. And there are 2 reasons, 2 main reasons why we do not have taste. The first reason is given in the verse itself. It is due to our avidya. And avidya, another name or another understanding of that is called bahir mukta. Bahir mukta means our indifference to Krishna. We are looking away from Krishna for our happiness. We are looking away from Krishna Katha for treating the disease. So if you have jaundice and you are looking away from sugar candy, how will it cure the disease? How will your disease be cured? You are looking away from the medicine which is supposed to cure your disease. So that is our ignorance. We ignore the medicine. We many times even ignore the problem. We many a times, if you ask somebody that on the street or some totally random person who has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness, you ask him, do you think it is a problem that you do not have taste for Krishna Katha? If you asked your neighbor, what would he say? Would he say it is a problem in his life or it is not a problem in his life that he has no taste for Krishna Katha?
No problem in
No
life.
problem.
No problem. Who is Krishna? Huh? Come on, you guys are so fanatical. You don't have anything better to do. You all keep just talking Krishna or God. You have better things to do. Go get a life. Right? They will say, you have a problem. We are fine. So they don't even acknowledge that there is a problem. At least your first step is you acknowledge that there is a problem. And this problem has been there from a very long time. So now is as good a time as any other to start making progress. So that is the first point, that we have been looking away from Krishna. At least you understand you have a problem. Now you know what is the medicine, and you know that you are looking away from the medicine. That is the first problem, or that is the first reason why our disease is not getting cured. And we are looking at away from Krishna because we are attached to so many other things. We didn't even know that there is a problem. So all those things are contributing to the disease continuing. It is continuing, maybe it is increasing also in many cases. So that is point number one. Point number two, for those who are trying to solve the disease. So this is the second point. Okay, and this will be coming more in detail in the next verse of Upadeśāmṛtam, but I'm pulling in some aspect of that into verse number 7. Because many of the devotees, all of you are devotees who are attending this call, you are not in this first category to some extent. There may still be avidya, there may still be elements of it, but at least you know that it is a problem and you are trying to do something about it, which means you are trying to take interest in Krishna Katha. That is why you are on the call. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on the call. So what is the problem then? Many of you said, I'm not making enough progress. I'm not making very fast progress. You didn't raise your hand. The reason for that is due to our offensive process. Adar is missing. I have put that word adarat and cut it out. The absence of that part is part of the problem. The first two things are there. What are the first two? Who can tell me? The first two pieces of the cure are present. What are the first two?
That we have identified that we have a relationship with Krishna.
In Sanskrit, no. In Sanskrit, we had 3-part cure. Third part was adarat. What was the first two? Krishna Nama caritadi. First, we have to take the right medicine. Second part was
Anudinam.
Anudinam, every day, which means how frequently you have to take the medicine. Doctor says he doesn't just write the name of the medicine, isn't it? He also writes 2 times a day, 2 tablets, twice a day, whatever. He writes the dosage. Rupa Gosvami has also written dosage, Anudinam. And the third process, or the third part, is our attitude, which is adarat. So for devotees, the second point is the problem. First point is to some extent addressed. The second point is the problem, our offensive chanting. Our offensive immersion in Krishna Katha is our problem due to the naam aparadhs. Okay, and to some extent 1 and 2 are related, but for devotees, for those who are doing some kind of Krishna Katha, the aparadh is what is causing the slow progress or no progress, depending on the magnitude of your aparadh. So let us talk about these 2 parts one by one. So avidya. So how to develop taste? By addressing these 2 reasons, the lack of vidya or avidya and aparadh. So avidya. So I will go through it quickly. Avidya. So the symptom is na rochikanu. How many of you see that symptom in yourself, that when you are doing your chanting, it seems like a burden? Raise your hand. I feel like that. Out of 16 rounds, some rounds I do feel burden. Some are nice. But then when, office meeting is there or some deadline is there, oh my God, such a burden. So who all? Raise your hand. Everybody else doesn't seem burden? Or, okay, very nice. So symptom is present. So the disease, when the symptom of burden is there, then the disease is present. When the symptom is present, disease is present. Otherwise, why will the symptom be there? If the disease is eliminated at the root, the symptom should be gone, isn't it? So the disease is avidya. Ignorance, avidya or ignorance. Ignorance of what? Who can tell? Or any guesses? Ignorance of?
We are part and parcel of this.
Yes, that we are Krishna's part and parcel.
I think
Amaiva amsho jiva loke, jiva bhutah sanatanaha. Very good. Yes, who else?
I think it's about that we know what's the remedy of our disease and still ignoring that fact.
Okay, very good, very good.
Ignorance of taste.
Ignorance of taste. Okay. Anybody else?
Prabhuji, ignorance of the potency of the name.
Potency of the name. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so let's move forward. You can lower your hands, otherwise I don't know who has. We will take questions in just a second, okay? So ignorance of a good understanding of sambandha gyan. Our acharyas, our commentators, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, these are the main commentaries referred here, say that it is due to a lack of good understanding of sambandha gyan. What is sambandha gyan? Sambandha means what? What does sambandha mean? Everybody knows, right? Sambandha.
In relationship.
Relationship. So sambandha gyan means who am I? In every relationship, there are at least two parties, isn't it? So in this relationship, in this sambandh, the two parties are myself and Krishna. So who am I? Who is Krishna? And what is our relationship? That is sambandha gyan. And lack of this sambandha gyan, like someone said, leads to indifference to Krishna, isn't it? Now, in America, for example, many people don't know who their neighbor is. Okay. Now, if your close childhood college friend came and started living as a neighbor, but here we don't even know who moved in, who moved out, and he's living next door to you, your old classmate, college friend, you would feel indifferent to him, isn't it? But if you knew, oh my God, in the next door house, my old friend is living, you would immediately go and meet him. So that lack of knowledge leads to indifference. Then he's as good as any other neighbor because you don't know who he is, who is occupying the other house. So lack of sambandha gyan, lack of who is Krishna and who am I, for many, in many cases, we don't even know who we are. We think, we are just, this body trying, our goal is to maximize our enjoyment. So who am I, who is Krishna? And we don't know that, and it leads to indifference to Krishna. And what is the best way to solve sambandha gyan? Is to get the knowledge, and Bhagavad Gita is the best way to develop sambandha gyan. Bhagavad Gita completely, very nicely and strongly tells us about sambandha gyan. Not that much about avidya, the process. It has portions about the process, and much less also about prayojana, which is the end result of the process. Those two things come much more strongly in which scripture?
Srimad Bhagavatam.
Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, very nice. So Bhagavad Gita, that's why Bhagavad Gita is the first book. Srila Prabhupada says that is like the first book, and next level is Bhagavatam. First, we have to know who is Krishna, who are we. First 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita are dedicated to who we are. Second chapter itself starts with, we are not the body, you are the spirit soul. Then there is the concept of the mind and how the mind is controlling our life and how we need to control the mind. All that is there from 1 to 6. Then 7 to 12 is all about who is Krishna, who is Bhagavan. Okay, so we know about ourselves, we know about Krishna, and we know about, then we learn about the relationship between ourselves and Krishna. Mameva amsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. We are parts and parcel of Krishna. And so many other things from Bhagavad Gita we learn about sambandha. So the best way to understand sambandha gyan is a deep study of Bhagavad Gita. And another point to be noted here is that it is not easy. Just by doing one reading of Bhagavad Gita, it does not sink into the mind. Which chapter this comes in? Tell me. Mame vamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. Those who have not done the Bhakti Shastri module, which chapter it comes in? Tell me. Because it is one of the memorization verses in Bhakti Shastri. So those who have done Bhakti Shastri module remember, but those who have not done it, do you remember which chapter it comes in? Very important verse. So it takes time. It's in 15th chapter. So it takes time for Bhagavad Gita to sink in. And then we have Srimad Bhagavatam. Then we have to apply it in our life. It's a long process. So for a serious sadhaka, it could take easily 15 to 20 years to develop the taste in Krishna Katha. It's not. So that's why kramat or dhairyat, utsahat, nishchayat, dhairyat. So one should have this patience. It's not 1 week. It's not 6 months. Continuous process has to be done. For a serious person, average. Now, for somebody who has past life, credit in bhakti, it could be much smaller than 15 years. It could be 3 years, 2 years. Okay, so this number is just very average, what our acharyas have written. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur himself is giving this number 15 to 20. I didn't say this. I have picked it up from one of the writings of Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj. So it takes time. So the point is, do not wait. Do not put it on hold or put it for retirement. Start early and keep moving steadily. That is the point. On sambandha, avidya, prayojana. That's the whole process. Sambandha means identifying our relationship with Krishna. Avidya means doing something about it, acting on it, the process. And prayojan means finally relishing the taste. So sambandha and avidya, we must start doing and steadily and not put it on hold, not delay it for too long. There's a beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, very, very important verse. If we were to do some time Bhakti Vaibhav, we may do it in the future. The study of Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, then this is one of the memorization verses in Bhakti Vaibhav. So it says, Shri Prahlad Uvacha. So this is Prahlad Maharaj speaking. He's the topmost devotee. He says, Kaumar acharet pragyo dharman bhagavatan iha durlabham manusham janma tadapya adhruvam arthadam. So what it means is that Kaumar acharet pragyo dharman bhagavatan iha. This Bhagavat Dharma. So if I can move my mouse, Bhagavat Dharma, which is basically Bhakti Yoga. What is Bhagavat Dharma? Bhakti Yoga or Krishna Bhakti. Kaumara Acharet. You have to start practicing it from Kaumara. What is Kaumara? What is Kaumara?
Youth.
Young age.
A very young age. Yes, youth. Very young age. Because why? He's saying because this, Manushya, the human life, the human body is very, very durlabh. It is very, very rarely attained. And then he says, gives a very strong example of why from early age. First point is it takes a long time. And why start in childhood, in Kaumara stage? In the 5th verse, just 4 verses down the line, he says, Tato yateta kushalaha kshemaya bhavam ashritaha shariram paurusham yavan na vipadyeta pushkalam. So what it means is that Shariram Paurusham Yavan, while the Sharira has Paurusham, Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, no, aham paurusham nrishu. I am the, what is it? The strength or paurusham in man. So, paurusham means strength. And na vipadyeta pushkalam. And there are no miseries. Vipadyeta means no bodily problems. So therefore, while in material existence, a person fully competent to distinguish wrong from right must endeavor to achieve the highest goal of life, as long as the body is stout and strong and is not embarrassed by dwindling. I am already experiencing all dwindling. You know, sometimes I can't remember the verses or I forget things. And, you know, if I sit for too long in a position, my leg, you know, begins to hurt. You know, all those things are already beginning to happen. And, you know, by normal standards, one can say I'm not that old. I'm not retired and I'm not all that. And bodily effects are already beginning to take place. So one should start very early. Don't wait. Don't waste your time. Okay. So that is very, very important to make very sincere and very serious progress in our bhakti. So I could have spoken a lot more. This whole topic about urgency is, you know, worth, you know, many, many lectures, but I'm trying to just give a very small snapshot of this point. So what was the main point here? We'll go back, that this whole process of sambandha, avidya, developing the taste could take up to 15 to 20 years on average. So don't wait, don't put it off, and you know, start right now. There is urgency. And then the second part, for those who have started, the next point is to eradicate aparadh, naam aparadh. One could start with naam aparadhs. Actually, the naam aparadhs pretty much include all the possible offenses you could do. If you start immersing yourself in Krishna Katha by eliminating all the naam aparadhs, you are already at a Suddha Nam level. You're already at the level of pure love of Krishna. So the first part is to understand Nama Tattva, the importance of the holy name. So again, this is a matter of many, many classes, and literally, like, we did a 7-part series on the power of the holy name. It's all recorded on YouTube, and not only me, you can hear any other devotee. Many other devotees have given much better lectures than I have. But if you look at my YouTube channel, there are 7-part series on the story of Ajamil. And that story of Ajamil is nothing but the power of the holy name, from number 39 to 45, 7-part series. So that is to understand, again, this is sambandha with respect to nama. Again, nama is no different from Krishna Bhagawan. So this is also part of sambandha gyan, trying to understand our sambandha with nama Prabhu, or with the holy name personified, which is none different from Krishna. The second part is to take the name without offenses. So try very, very hard. It may be impossible, but try very hard. And to the extent you try, you will see the exponential increase in your taste. Guaranteed, 100% guaranteed. So very, very hard. Try to eliminate all the 10 offenses in your life. These offenses are not just during your chanting or hearing or shravanam and kirtanam. These are life offenses. You have to mold your life to not cause any of the 10 offenses. And there's another 9-part series on the offenses. So, you know, almost 9 plus 7, 16 lectures are already there on this whole topic of Nama Tattva and Naam Aparadh. So please try to, do the Krishna Katha in a completely Naam Aparadh free way. Okay, so I'm not going to go into all the 10 offenses and all that. As you can see, 9 series, each one is about 1.5 hours. So almost 15 hours of discussion we can have on this topic and more. So I will just quote this one couple of verses by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Antya Leela chapter 4. These are instructions by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatan Goswami. So he is saying that Bhajanera Madhye Shreshtha Navavidha Bhakti. Bengali is very straightforward, more or less. Bhajanera Madhye means within the bhajan, within the various processes of bhajan. Bhajanera Madhye Shreshtha, the best is what? What is the best?
Nine processes.
Navavidha Bhakti, the 9 processes. Okay, and Krishna Prema, Krishna Dite Dhare Mahashakti. These 9 processes have the power, the Mahashakti, to give you Krishna Prem, to give you Krishna. Krishna Dite Dhare. So these 9 processes are so powerful, they can give you Krishna, they can give you Krishna Prem. That is Prayojana, that is the end result. That is the prize, so to say, of the process. Okay. Next verse, very important. Tara Madhye. So, Bhajanera Madhye Navavidha. Tara Madhye means within the Navavidha, okay, Sarva Shrestha. Sarva Shrestha means the supermost best is Nama Sankirtana. Okay. So within the 9 processes, Nama Sankirtan is the best. But what kind of Nama Sankirtan? Niraparadhe, without offenses. Otherwise, the effect is not that much. Otherwise, the effect is very, very slow. So Naam Niraparadhe Naam Leile Paya Premadhan. That is that end of, end of your, that's the final accomplishment. Premadhan Paya. So what else is left after one gains Prem Dhan of Krishna? So Shyamlila Mataji, can you read the translations of these two, please?
Yes, Prabhuji. 4.70. Among the ways of executing devotional service, the 9 prescribed methods are the best. For these processes have great potency to deliver Krishna an ecstatic love for him. Of the 9 processes of devotional service, the most important is to always chant the holy name of the Lord. If one does so, avoiding the 10 kinds of offenses, one very easily obtains the most valuable love of Godhead.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. So Niraparadhe, it's right there in the verse. Within the verse, it is there. Niraparadhe. Without the aparadh, if you're doing the chanting, then Prem Dhan you will get. There is no doubt about that. Okay, we have still few more slides to cover. So another very important point is part of this inoffensive, non-offensive chanting is to chant with heartful feeling. That is when you come, when all the offenses have been removed, the holy name will come with full feeling, with full heart. And that will not happen until you have, that will not happen if you still continue to have material attachments. One of the 10 offenses is to have attachments, material attachments, in spite of understanding so many instructions against this point. So this is a very, very important verse, Srimad Bhagavatam, in the prayers of Queen Kunti, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse number 26. So it says, Janmaishwarya Shruta Shribhir Edhaman Madah Puman Naivarhatya Abhidhatum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. So what it means is that, my Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted, which means who are done with material sense gratification. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, higher education, bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. With sincerity, one cannot approach the Lord when one is too much, I am very strong, I have a lot of money, I have this, I have that. That pride, puts a limit on our sincerity. So we should realize the futility of all our material shelters. That is the meaning of sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Because misery is in this world is just around the corner, if not already in our face. Many people may say, where is the misery? I am happy. Okay, right now you may be happy, but what about a little bit later? And you just have to see around yourself. For other people who are facing the misery, yesterday they were in the same comfortable situation like you, but today they are in misery. So what says that you cannot be that situation tomorrow? And too much attachment to comfort, comfort and opulence itself is not an impediment in bhakti. Okay, Ambarish Maharaj, Yudhishthir, the Pandavas, after the war, they won the war and the kingdom. They had a lot of opulence, but they were not attached. But those examples are few and far between. We should not think we can become like the exception. The general rule is too much opulence or attachment to opulence is an impediment. There are exceptions. You want to rely yourself in being part of the main rule or the exception. So we must plan, like they say, plan for the worst, hope for the best. So our planning should be for the worst, that if there is too much opulence and comfort, it will be an impediment in our bhakti. That's how we should assume we should operate, and therefore try to lower our attachment to comforts and opulence. There is this very long, beautiful purport by Srila Prabhupada of this verse 1.8.26 that I would like one of the devotees to read. Pay special attention to these red highlights that I have highlighted here. So some devotee who can read nicely, and this one. Shamlila Mataji, would you kindly do, or is there anybody
Yes, Prabhuji.
who want to volunteer? Okay, why don't you do?
Ji. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.26, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Being materially advanced means taking birth in an aristocratic family and possessing great wealth, an education, and attractive personal beauty. All materialistic men are mad after possessing all these material opulences, and this is known as the advancement of material civilization. But the result is that by possessing all these material assets, one becomes artificially puffed up, intoxicated by such temporary possessions. Consequently, such materially puffed up persons are incapable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing him feelingly.
That is very important, addressing him feelingly.
O Govind, O Krishna. It is said in the Shastra that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of a quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord.
The holy name is very powerful. Srila Prabhupada is saying there's no doubt about it, about the power of the holy name. But it has to be done with quality. That's what will come.
There is not the least exaggeration in this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency. But there is a quality to such utterances also. It depends on the quality of feeling.
That is the important point. It depends on the quality of that feeling, of that chanting of the name. The name is very powerful, but it should be done with feeling. Please.
Sorry, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially puffed up
one who is little helpless due to material situations will be. How many of you might have seen this situation? Somebody is not well in the house, something is not going well, Maybe there is an announcement in the company, tomorrow there will be layoffs. We lay off 20% of the company. That day you're chanting. I have seen it in my life, or somebody is not well or sick or whatever happens. You chant more with feeling, with more sincerity. Everything is nice. It comes to little mechanical, isn't it? So that is the point being made. Please go ahead.
A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the name in quality. Therefore, the four principles of material advancement, namely high parentage, good wealth, high education, and attractive beauty, are, so to speak, disqualifications for progress on the path of spiritual advancement.
So to speak means that they are not actually disqualifications. For example, with Ambarish Maharaj, Pandavas, so many other devotees, it was not a disqualification. But 99% it is a disqualification. There are exceptions. Please.
Sometimes it is seen that spiritually advanced persons become materially impoverished. This is no discouragement. On the other hand, such impoverishment is a good sign, as much as the falling of temperature is a good sign. The principle of life should be to decrease the degree of material intoxication, which leads one to be more and more illusioned about the aim of life. Grossly illusioned persons are quite unfit for entrance into the kingdom of God.
Thanks.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. So next. So very quickly, immersion in Srimad Bhagavatam. Very, 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 very important. So it gives us all the three steps, sambandha, avidya, prayojan. In the Friday series we recently started, we went through each of these verses, 1.1.1, 2, and 3 in detail, how it is emphasizing that Srimad Bhagavatam contains all these three topics in detail, sambandha, avidya, and prayojan. So we are doing this Friday series. Let me know if you're interested. There are no recordings posted on YouTube. All attendees must keep their camera on and sit in front of the camera, not just an empty chair. And regularity. Of course, if there is some emergency or whatever, you can miss, but continuity I require. So last slide for today, and then we are done. Few practical tips. And these are not easy, but these are simple, straightforward. So please, if you are interested in removing your jaundice of your life, and you are interested in getting that prem dhan, that relishment, that taste in Krishna naam, if you want it to manifest in your life, please take very careful note of these tips. First thing, Krishna naam jap, make it number one priority in your life. Number one priority. Really, number one doesn't mean number one after my job, after my family, after my Netflix, then number one. No, no, no. Number one, everything given number one. Literally the number one. Make daily, I have cut out the word reading, because reading typically kind of gives a sense, so I'm just reading, like mechanical reading. Just like japa can be mechanical, reading can be mechanical. 5 minutes later, I ask, what did you read? Oh, I forgot what I read, because it was very mechanical. So even though it is good than doing nothing, but study or immersion is a nice word, in Srimad Bhagavatam, make that the number two priority in your life. And then comes all the other things. It doesn't require you to quit your job or divorce your spouse or neglect your children. That is not the meaning. Those are the urgencies. Those are needed. It does require one to eliminate all other things other than job, family, whatever else, doing your grocery, paying your bills. You have to do that. But if you analyze your life, there is a lot of other unnecessary distractions. If you remove those in your life, you will see you will easily be able to make number one and number two as the number one, number two priorities. No doubt. No doubt. and leading a simple life. You cannot have an ultra complicated life. Cannot have 10 bank accounts. Put money in one bank account. What is the problem? 10 bank accounts, then you have to deal with 10 different forms at tax filing and this and that and this. Try to simplify your life. Okay. Then more practical tips. Plan your next day properly before sleeping. So, plan how you will do your chanting, what you will read, whether it is Bhagavatam or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu or some other scripture. Plan it. Tomorrow I want to read this at this time. I have these meetings, I have this work, I have to go here, there. Here is the slot I will do. So unless you plan it, you will not do it, because everything else will become priority. The bills will be need to be paid. Otherwise, you will have to pay a penalty fees. You will prioritize that. Your other things you will prioritize, and your japa and your Bhagavatam will go and take a backseat. Get good sleep. Sleep on time, get up on time. And when the mind is fresh, do your japa, not with a sleepy mind. And focus on quality over quantity. Absolute focus on quality. Let the quality flow into your japa, into your Srimad Bhagavatam. There is no rush. You should not have a rush. Okay? And chant attentively with feeling. Use the readings of Srimad Bhagavatam to help develop the feeling of utter dependence on Krishna. Just now we read one of the verses from prayer of Queen Kunti. There are hundreds and thousands of verses and topics in Srimad Bhagavatam which will generate this dependence on Krishna. So use this dependence, with this feeling of dependence during your Krishna Katha, hearing, chanting, speaking, Kirtana, everything. Then Ekadashi. Ekadashi is not just for eating nice sabudana khichdi and, quinoa salad and all the other exotic. Some devotees make exotic things out of on Ekadashi. Don't do that. The goal of Ekadashi is to keep the kitchen closed. Keep your stove cold. Just take milk, fruits, whatever else you have, take that. And use Ekadashi to look back. How were the last 14 days? What will be your next 14 days? Plan forward. What went well? What didn't go well? Use that time that you have by keeping your kitchen cold to do your spiritual planning. Find a mentor to help you grow spiritually. Very, very important. You will have things in your life. You will have a lot of questions. So find somebody who is interested in helping you, who is friendly, and who is more advanced than you to help you, who understands your mentality, your attitude, is your friend, to help. It may be hard to find such a person, but try to, if not, pray to Krishna to help you find someone like that. Main point is to take your spiritual life seriously. Make it a priority, not a hobby. If you are interested in Premadhan, Krishna Premadhan, if not, no problem. There is no other real life. The spiritual life is the real life. The other life, which you may be thinking is my real life, is the unreal one. This is the real one. So bottom line is, simplify your life and reorient it towards Krishna Bhakti. Ideally, 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, 16 hours. Okay, remains 8 hours. In those 8 hours, 4 hours for your daily activities, including whatever bill payment and this and that. 4 hours every day on a weekday, you should be able to do Krishna, direct Swarupa Siddha Bhakti, direct activity of Krishna Bhakti. 4 hours every day you should be able to do. And weekends, even more. Those 8 hours of work should get added to 4 hours, 12 hours on weekend. Imagine what will happen in your spiritual life if you reorient it this way. And it is possible. It is possible. So if you do like this, then you will see how this disease of jaundice, of na rochikanu, that symptom, the avidya will be eradicated, and you will have swadvi, kramad. It will take time. Bhavati, tadgada mula hantri, that disease will be eradicated from the root, and you will get swad, you will get Krishna prema dhana. Okay, so that is the today's discussion. Questions? All glories to Rupa Gosvami, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to my Guru Janas. So let's take some questions. I will see the chat. And in the meantime, you can raise your hands. Okay. So Sai Prabhu, are you still here? Yes. So if you have a comment and or a question, because sometimes you have comment and question, maybe you can just prepend it with a C or a Q so that I know if it's a question or a comment. Yeah, no problem, Prabhuji. I know you got your message. You have to drop. So thank you so much for joining. Okay. Souls may also have great anxiety to meet Krishna, to finally have eternal relationship with him. This contradicts with patience. One may have anxiety every second. Why does the verse not address such? So it is talking about material anxiety. That is a good kind of anxiety. So we are talking about material anxieties. This anxiety is spiritual. For a soul wandering around in the universe every day, nothing can compensate for uniting with one's eternal family friend. Patience does not sound helpful, like for one dying from thirst in a desert. Yes. So this is at a spiritual level, and yes, that is very correct. So, but still there needs to be patience. That word patience, when we will see Nectar of Devotion, please listen to this, Sai Prabhu. It converts into what is known as Vishwasa and what is known as Asha Bandha. This is also another concept, Asha Bandha, that today I am fully surrendered to Krishna. Today I am not getting him. Today I am not seeing him, but one day I will see him. I am Asha Bandha. I have the strong Vishwas. I will see him. So that is also a mood of a genuine bhakta. Okay, not like a demand. Why it is not that I cannot see Krishna? Something is wrong in Krishna or something is wrong in me. No, neither of those are true. Nothing is wrong in your bhakti if it is pure. Nothing is wrong in Krishna's bhakti. But Krishna's mercy happens according to Krishna's sweet will. It will happen. It's a matter of time. Asha Bandha. We will discuss this in Bhav Bhakti in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Asha Bandha. So that is the mood, not a, why it is not happening, why it is not happening, like that. Okay, we'll take Makarand Prabhu's question next. You are on mute.
So one question comes to my mind. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says that the Yog Bhrashta devotee in next life takes birth in a opulent family.
Shuchi naam Shrimatam Gehe. Yes.
Right, sir. But right now we just studied that these four things which you mentioned, they are not very conducive to good bhakti. So little bit.
Which four things?
Is it good state of family?
That got it.
Yeah. So little bit of contradiction.
No
So
contradiction. No contradiction.
Yeah.
What it means is that you must also read ahead in that Bhagavad Gita section. So just to understand, make sure I understand your question, you're saying that after some time of bhakti, if one deviates, then in the next life he gets a very opulent life. And that opulence might take him away from Krishna based on this verse.
Right, sir.
Yes, there is absolutely no contradiction. The point is that the reason why he deviated in the previous life, I will give a short answer, okay? And we can discuss more in detail later. The reason why he deviated in the first place in the previous life is because of some material attachments. Lord Krishna makes the arrangement in the next life for one to fulfill those attachments. And then you will see, as you read ahead in the 43rd and 44th verse of the 6th chapter, automatically Lord Krishna makes one attracted to Krishna Bhakti without even one desiring. Paurvadehikam. Because of his the practice of bhakti in his previous life, he starts off again, even without his trying, even without his seeking out. So the Lord puts him back on exactly the same path at the same point where he left. And then it is up to that individual to become bahirmukh or anmukh at that point. But the Lord will bring him back to the same point after he has had his quota of enjoyment, because that was his desire. The Lord does not remove or take away that desire, especially for a bhakta. Okay?
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else has a question online? Every second we are in a great burning fire in this world, and one needs to have a proper process to reach Krishna's or Paramatma's cooling company as soon as possible, as Dhruva did. As soon as possible, I have a issue with that phrase, okay? It's not as soon as possible. It is according to Krishna's sweet will. We should have the urgency, but we should not demand as soon as possible, ASAP. We cannot demand, okay? I don't think a living entity will be satisfied with waiting patiently in a great burning fire. No. So again, this is of the same nature as the previous question. Okay. Finding one's best friend Krishna quickly in a young age is very necessary. No, not at all. Finding, if I go by that literal word, finding is necessary. No, absolutely not. What is necessary is our investment in the process. That is necessary, but the result is not in our hands. And the way the question is written means that it would discourage someone if the result is not obtained quickly. That is completely against the process of bhakti. You cannot put a timeline on the result, obtaining of the result. If anybody has told you that, that is utterly wrong. Okay, next one. Okay, Anjana Mataji, you have a hand raised.
Yes, Prabhuji. So we spoke about those 10 offenses, right? Tunama, taking names of Krishna. So my question is that as an aspiring devotee, I make those offenses very often. So how do I see that? I mean, is it more like I'm making more offense than progressing? Because when we are progressing, we tend to make those offenses, and
So
over a period of time, it'll go away.
No, we have to make our effort to make them go away.
Yeah, I mean, over a period of time while practicing, and if you're sincere, it will go away. But
yes. Go ahead.
But while we are, practicing, we still, we are not advanced as we should be, or, still we are committing those offenses. So how do we see that?
The disease is still there, just like this verse that we discussed today is the right verse. You are taking the medicine, but it doesn't mean that disease has gone. The medicine is having its effect. It's a slow medicine. It's not like one of your wonder drugs of the modern day, like, I don't know, whatever, ibuprofen or Tylenol. You take it, within 2 hours, fever is gone. So it's not a wonder drug, like in that sense. It is a wonder drug, but it's trying to solve a problem of millions and millions of lifetimes we have. But the point is that the disease is getting cured slowly, gradually. So if your question is, we are following the process, but the offenses are still there, what is the reason? Is the process working? Is it
No.
what's the question? And we
So
have
my
to put,
question
we
is
have
that
to, and one more point, we have to put conscious effort to eliminate the naam aparadhas. Just the process of chanting will not automatically, magically make us stop doing the naam aparadha. That is also a misconception and a misunderstanding. Oh, just even mechanical chanting, just keep doing. One day, somehow by some divine arrangement, our naam aparadha will go away, our inattentiveness will go away, and it will become Shuddha Naam. That may happen, but will happen after many, many, many lifetimes. The instruction is to actively put effort to removing the offenses. Okay, go ahead.
My question is that while we are trying to progress and remove those offenses over a period of time, I mean, we are still making those offenses, right? So what I'm to ask you is that, do we incur sin?
No.
Because we are
you make
those
slower
offenses?
progress. The progress is always forward, but slowed.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, now there are some, for example, Vaishnava aparadha. That is the number one offense in the 10 offenses we should not commit. And in the classes that we discussed, you will see we discussed in detail about each of the offenses remedy. So especially for Vaishnava aparadha, if we know we have committed, knowing, then we should immediately go seek remedy. Immediately. And the remedy is to fall at the feet of the Vaishnava whom we have committed offense and ask for forgiveness. Best to do it as soon as possible without delay. Like Lord Vishnu tells Durvasa Muni, immediately go to Ambarish Maharaj, do not delay, he says. Do not delay. Right now you go. So that is the remedy for that. But while doing our chanting, we are not making backward progress unless we are making serious Vaishnava aparadha in the process. All the other ones, like there is also another one, committing sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. There also we could make backward progress. Okay, the sinful activities if we are knowingly committing. So yes, but generally one who is serious will not be such a such a fallen person that he will so grossly misuse, or he will actively, then he's not even trying to eliminate naam aparadha. He's simply aware of naam aparadha and is actively committing naam aparadha. I am not counting that in your category. I'm thinking that what your question is, that one is trying but unable to, but one is not like actively being duplicit and being a complete pretender. Then you could fall behind, you could move backward. Otherwise, you are always moving forward, but slower. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay, so I don't see any other questions. There were 2 questions by Sai Prabhu. We answered that. And there's one more question. Ideal timing for japa, all 16 at a time or 4 at a time? Well, that depends on your convenience or schedule. There is no rule that all 16 should be done together. Technically, you can do 1 at a time. You do 1 round at 8 a.m., 1 round at 9 a.m., 1 round at 10 a.m. 1 round you have to do together. Okay, fine. But it's not good to do 1 round every hour. Typically, devotees do 4 in a time, in a chunk. Some do 8 and 8. Some do all 16. Some do like 12 plus 4. Some do 10 plus 6. So many. There is no rule.
Okay, Prabhupada.
Yeah, there are no other questions that are there on the chat. Okay. Anything else? Okay, one more point. I don't fully get your lack of emphasis on quickly. I understand about patience, but some concern for time is natural. For example, girl boy may expect his parents to fix their marriage by 30 or 35, but may not keep patience until 65. True. So that is a material situation. 35, 65 years of marriage. In this material world, yes, definitely nobody will wait till 65. But in Krishna's situation, it is unlimited. Unfortunately, that's the reality, or that's the siddhanta. But It's not like if Krishna is not putting a time limit, it means it is intolerable. It is so bad that I will get frustrated. That should not be the takeaway. We should have the Vishwas that Krishna will reciprocate as quickly as possible. And Krishna does reciprocate very quickly, way more quickly. In all the pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna is more eager to reciprocate than the devotee is. But I'm just giving you the theoretical siddhanta that there is no timeline about it. It happens according to Krishna's sweet will. And Krishna is very merciful, and his will manifest more quickly than we can imagine. So I hope that gives you a hope. That is exactly what is called Asha Bandha, hope. What is the translation of Asha? Hope. So when we will read this section, or you can go and read it right away, it is in the Bhava Bhakti section. I will tell you the chapter number. It will be chapter 18 in Nectar of Devotion. Okay, Kalptaru Mataji.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. Do we have room? I'm sorry. I think we are late, but I'm just double checking.
Go ahead.
This is in same line as Anjana Mataji was asking question, and I think her question was, and I also want to understand that. So if we do naam aparadh, does our sin accumulate and then kind of we are, growing a seed? Is it like aparadh? It will come as one of the 4 aparadhs. Sorry, not the aparadh, the sins. Prabhu, in future.
That depends on the naam aparadh.
Okay.
What kind of naam aparadh? Because, for example, Vaishnav aparadh is not a material level aparadh. Vaishnav aparadh is more serious than that. However, for example, and then the other one, like considering the name of Lord Shiva or other demigods to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu, that will simply dampen or impede your own bhakti. It's not a sin in that sense of prarabdha, karma or anything like that. So it simply slows down your own progress in bhakti. Or sharing the glories of the holy name with somebody who does not have faith is also not a material level sin, but it generates certain reaction for that person, because he will end up committing offenses towards the holy name, and that is not good, and then that will impede your own bhakti. So many of these are ones that limit or slow down our progress in bhakti. Some of them could cause sinful reactions, like, for example, the most obvious one is committing sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. So, you are doing your 16 rounds and then you are going around and doing sinful activities, whatever may be the case, stealing, cheating, lying, manipulating people for your material benefit, and they will definitely attract even more sinful activity, and it will impact your bhakti, and it will impact your karmic activity. If you are cheating a Vaishnava, let's say you robbed a Vaishnava of money, you owed some money and then you didn't give it back. So it will definitely be very, very harmful for your bhakti. Plus you have to repay, you carry the karmic sin as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, that is much clear. Thank you.
Okay, we will stop here. Thank you very much, Srila. So we have completed verse number 7. Next week, we will do verse number 8. Next week, we have class, right? Okay, we will see you next week. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.